Welcome back to Manchester, part of EuroCup 2023, day 2. This is, I believe, game 9. It's been an incredible weekend so far, and we have another fantastic matchup for you. It is going to be Paris Roller Derby versus Helsinki Roller Derby. So both teams in the top 10 in WFTDA. Paris currently ranked number 6th, and Helsinki currently ranked number 7th. And the WFTDA predictor, which has been surprisingly accurate this weekend, is saying that Paris should take the win 156 to 143. So very, very close. We've seen 2 incredibly close games today already. So there's a lot of emotion in the venue. So we'll take you through the rosters and the games in a moment. I am Dork Mistress.
I'm Over the Painbow.
And we have the wonderful Smash with us as our producer. He's going to make us sound smart and professional and switched on. So, going through the Paris roster, we have got number 12, La Moche, 1395, Leg Cité, 141, Bonnie Tagoul, 160, Moshi Moshi, 17, Lux, 21, Track Sparrow, 22, Rose Diane, 4950 Star, 54 Bully Bunker, 56 Cass, 71 Louvre, 72 Sally Breuer, 729 Gypsy Queen, 911 Gwyneth Paltrow, and 999 Kiki Frenetic. Who do we have for Helsinki?
We have got playing in white for Helsinki Roller Derby All-Stars 080 Querica, 10 Sylvester, 112 Fuchs, 13 Yemina Lugogora, 20 Predator, 22 Malu, 242 Komia, 286 Nina, 312 Speedy, 4 Palele, 441 Zard, 57 Yoki, 77 Rutsalainen, 80 Mu, and 88 Vapuknutla.
If you've been with us all weekend and you're having fun, as you would be because we've been watching incredible roller derby, use the hashtag Roller Derby EuroCup and post on social media, show us what you're doing and the fun that you're having. But that last game.
Oh my goodness, my nerves are shot already today. I really hope this game is a little bit more easygoing, although the stats predictor obviously doesn't have it that way. But we've just seen an incredibly close game between Crime and Toulouse.
Yep.
The London game this morning I'm not ready to talk about yet.
And both of those are predicted by rankings and by the predictor to be close. This is also going to be there. So strap in. We're going to have a lot of fun over the next sort of hour and a half.
I'm excited.
So the lineup is on track for the first jam, and we're just waiting for that last 6 seconds to go before Derby.
Looks like...
And it is Leg Cité versus Nina on the jam line. Legs standout jammer in the games yesterday, but it is Nina who takes lead jammer, pushing out the front. Legs also out, clearing the pack, about half a lap behind. And Nina now coming through to score points. So, and facing some difficulty at the back of the pack, decided not to try and get any more points, but does pick up 3, so off of the board for Helsinki. Paris on 0.
Yeah, nice little bit of tactics there already from Paris getting to the front, just allowing a little bit of extra time for their jammer to catch up. So trying to match the distance between the 2 jammers with the 2 packs and really cutting off that opportunity. That really could have made the difference between that extra point on that pass, I think.
Fantastic analysis. And we are on to jam 2. La Moche against Malu. And it is Helsinki who are playing it in the white, and it's... I'm just having a look. I just realised that it is Paris who are playing in the blue. So La Moche, lead jammer. And I think both teams trying to scope each other out at the moment. 3 points for Paris, so equal glory in these first 2 jams.
Yeah, 3 points for Paris in that. Yeah, so we saw yesterday in Helsinki's game against Crime a lot of short jams at the start that will hit it and quit it, get a few points. And then, yeah, the game really changed up as the 2 teams sort of got to know each other, figured each other out.
And Paris in particular, when they played Toulouse yesterday morning, were doing this and dominating the first half of the game, but it was 4 points by 4 points. So on the jam line, we have Star and Speedy for Paris and Helsinki respectively. And it's Speedy pushing at the back and gets a gap around the outside, but oh, that was an amazing hit out. And that was number 72, which is Sally Breuer with some beautiful offense. but didn't stop Speedy from getting lead. Has completed initial pass, now round for points.
Yeah, Helsinki with the pack advantage on this one as well, which really helps. I think one of the things we've seen in a lot of the games this weekend is that difference in penalties and pack advantage, even one blocker in the box making all the difference.
But Speedy out, completing second scoring pass. Sorry, first scoring pass. And now on their second, but there has been a star pass. It's now Bonnie Tagoul, who is the jammer for Paris. Bonnie, traditionally the recipient of the helmet cover in the star pass, and forces the call off. So that's, yeah, forces the call off. Did they sneak any points? No, they did not, but Helsinki snuck another one. 5 points for Helsinki, which takes them to 8, and Paris on 3. So a 5-point game, but we are only on now Jam 4.
Oh, yes, Jam 4 already.
And this just shows that hit it and quit it. That
Yeah,
we
and the little short jams, sussing each other out. Of course, Helsinki have already played today. Paris played 2 games yesterday. I think both teams have had some tough games already.
Yeah.
This
Emotionally
weekend.
and physically.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said earlier, emotions definitely running high.
But it's Vapuk Nutila who is now jamming for Helsinki. And it's Legsite for Paris, who is on the initial, stuck in the pack behind that Helsinki wall. Vapuk Nutila is out and completes scoring pass. So, and Legsite is being dragged back all the way to the S1 pivot line. And as we've seen a lot over this weekend, both teams with walls of 3, and it is Vapuk Nutila who is pushing out up front.
I think we've had a star pass from Paris to Bonnie Tagoul.
Again, as we saw, the traditional recipients, which is shows how much they are on the track. But it's Vapuk Nutila who's coming through for third scoring pass, facing that wall of 3 up front from Paris. And Bonnie Tagoul hit out at 2 and 2 and recycled all the way back almost to the S1 pivot line.
Yeah, a great bit of offense there from Predator, just breaking that Paris wall up enough, trying to give Vapuk Nutila the opportunity to try and get through, and there they go again. And then,
and it's Vapuk Nutila who gets out, and that's completing third scoring pass. So this is a huge jam for the psychology and setting the pace for the first 20 30 minutes of this game, possibly for Helsinki. Paris, Legsite is one of the strongest jammers. Bonnie is a great pivot turn jammer, and it is only just now out on their initial. That took almost the entire jam.
Yeah, that was a long jam. There was a couple of points where I thought they'd nearly got through, and then one of the Helsinki blockers would just appear at the front and say, "No, thank you. How about we go back to the back and do this again?"
So 15 points for Helsinki and nothing for Paris. So it's 23 playing 3. And we have on the jam line La Moche for Paris up against, just having a look, and it is Nina for Helsinki. Nina pushing out up front, La Moche recycled back behind the S1 jam line, and it is Nina who gets lead. So this is the second or third jam in a row lead for Helsinki.
Of course, we saw Helsinki really dominated the first half against Crime City yesterday, and then there was just one big jam, really changed it all. Helsinki got into a little bit of penalty trouble.
And Paris did the same against Toulouse, but at half-time that switched. So I think both teams, we have a star pass from La Moche, and it is to Bully Bunker. So trying to get out because Nina is on a scoring pass, is lead, hadn't completed the pass, didn't want to give any points to Paris, called the game. Called the jam, sorry.
Yeah, smart choice. Star passes, really, I think there's been some really good ones this weekend. Really key for shutting that jam down, especially in the early stages where teams don't want to take any chances, don't want to risk running. Sometimes you might go, oh, it's a pivot, we'll run the jam long, see if we can, make some extra points up. But early days, let's not take any risks. 3
points for Helsinki, taking them to 26. They're now 23 points ahead in this first 7 minutes of the game. And on the jam line, we have Cass for the first time against Malou. And that is such a tight start. And we have 2 Helsinki blockers in the box, which has enabled Cass to get out and get lead for Paris for the first time in 4 jams. But Malou is also out and about half a lap behind. But Cass has got through and done the sensible thing, called the jam. Got the points, called the jam.
Nice little, even though they only put 4 points up, good little break in Helsinki's momentum there just to take the lead in that jam. We have still got those 2 Helsinki blockers in the box. So again, they're starting with a 4-2 pack advantage, Paris. So,
and a quick shout out to our track sponsor. We are so grateful to our sponsors for whom we would not be able to put this on otherwise. Sovereign Transport Services, transport company delivering goods throughout the UK and Europe. Warehouse and storage facilities available at the London depot. And back to the action, Moshi up against Speedy. And it is Moshi who is a lead jammer. So the second lead jam in a row for Paris. And again, that momentum shift. Moshi coming through 4 points, but Speedy is still at the back behind the S1 jam line, not completing the initial. That wall of 3 from Paris holding them back. And strong defense from both teams, but it is Moshi who gets through and completes scoring pass.
Yes, a little bit of a pack advantage there for Paris. Paris were blocked down, sorry, so they weren't able to give Moshi any offense, but didn't seem to make any difference.
And we have a star pass from Helsinki just at the end, forcing that call off. So I think neither team willing to risk running things long at this stage, but Paris picking up 4 points, taking them to 11. Helsinki at 26. So it is a 15-point game. And 9 minutes into the game, and we've only scored 37 points across both teams. Very tentative, very let's not run things, let's not risk things.
Yeah, similar, as I say, to the Helsinki crime game yesterday, where I think we were about 12 jams in, and Malou was the highest scoring jammer with 11 points. Very
but absolutely, Legsite off the line, picking up lead. That inside left open through great offense from the Paris blockers. Vapuk Natila has got out and completed their initial pass and is returning to the pack. Legsite looking for direction from the bench on when to call it, and does so.
Yeah, that was a big takeout to the outside line, and then there was some confusion because the blocker went down, and she was, can I come back on? And there was a lot of shouting, and I think just call the jam off, be safe. Yeah. Again, early in the game, don't risk getting that penalty.
Absolutely. 4 points for Paris, taking them to 19, so closing that gap back down. So we have Cass on the jam line against, I think, Nina, on this jam, underway. Nina looking for the outside. Cass also looking for the outside, but gets the hit out and recycle behind the S1 jam line. But Cass breaks through the wall and a last-second hit out
that
and recycle Moo on the hit to the inside. Nina pushing out up front, 2 blockers, last line of defense, gets through for lead. But Cass is coming out directly behind, quarter of a lap, so it's a race to the pack. Paris lining up in front, Helsinki's defense behind, pack speeding up, trying to save their points. But I think Helsinki went, we're not playing that. We'd rather take no points than risk Paris sneaking some away from us. And when it's that tight, that's what you want.
Yeah, that was a really good tactic there, just run away. I mean, jammers score points by getting past the blocker's hips, and I would say the easiest way to stop them from doing that is to just run away. It's not very interesting to watch, but it is effective at stopping them from scoring your point.
So if you are with us all day, do not run away at the end of the final game. There are going to be tournament awards. So supported by Create and Skate Factory have provided our awards, and we are very grateful to them. So back to the action. It is Malou for Helsinki and Star for Paris on the jam. In just a scrum of people. Really tight pack. We're now on turn 1, and it is Malou pushing out up front, but it's Star that breaks through, picking up lead for Paris.
We've got a bit of a revolving door happening in the penalty box at the moment. It's 1 in, 1 out constantly.
But Malou has made it out to complete their initial pass and forces the call off on that jam.
So I've just been informed that each team have had 5 lead jammers in this game out of 10 jams, so that's very equal. And actually looking at our penalty tracking, it looks like penalties are relatively even across both teams. I think Helsinki might have 1 or 2 more.
But
oh no, same, 6 points each.
But
6 penalties each, sorry.
But this stage, that's quite light compared to some of the games we've seen this weekend. 23 for Paris, 26 for Helsinki. It's now a 3-point game, 17 minutes on the clock. And on this half, we have Limoges against Speedy, and Limoges proved to be Speedy.
Yeah.
So Speedy pushing out up front, has taken the helmet cover off and given it. Oh, and there is a star pass to Komia from Helsinki.
That was a cut track penalty that Komir picked up.
So it is a power jam and to Paris. And we've seen very light jammer penalties so far. So this is an opportunity this is the first jammer penalty. So this is an opportunity for Limoges to push through and close that gap down. And has done, completing 1 scoring pass. We now have a lead change. Limoges looking to the bench for guidance, but it's the Helsinki wall. And it's perfect 3-in-1 defense up front. Has kind of killed that penalty time.
I think they were trying to call the jam off and freeze Komir in the penalty box. So they started the next jam, not only with a power jam start, but with a pivot turned jammer instead of a jammer in the penalty box. But unfortunately for Paris, they just missed it.
So we have a team timeout that has been called by Helsinki, which, you know, is interesting because they've just got the momentum. But it's a chance to talk about, while they're at their bench, one of our bench sponsors, Rollerbones. Rollerbones wheels and bones bearings make for a winning combination, and we thank their support for this tournament. And our other bench sponsor is Sucker Punch Skate Shop, the biggest roller derby shop in Europe. Fast shipping, largest stock, expert advice at the right price. SuckerPunchSkateShop.com.
Yeah, I've just been informed. Helsinki have been held scoreless since Jam 5, and we are about to go into Jam 11. We're just about to go into Jam 12, sorry.
Yeah, so actually that's the reason for the timeout. They need to try and reformat their strategy a little bit.
Yeah, I think they've fallen into a few penalties recently. Just, right, we've had enough time to see what they're like. Let's have a little chat. How are we going to change things up? What are we going to do? Yeah. Just break that momentum a little bit.
I think what we can say is, as much as we've seen these two teams play this weekend, this game is not like the other games that they've played.
No, that's very true. No. Paris playing Toulouse, the other French team, who we've seen play a very fast game of roller derby.
So on the jam line, we have L'exité versus Vapuk Nutila, and it is strong defense from both teams. Both jammers trying to find the outside line, trying to push each other out of the way, as well as all the... Oh, wow. And what happened there was that Vapuk Nutila sort of went backwards. Everybody watched, and L'exité used that as an opportunity to go forwards when the pack was going backwards.
Yep.
And we have a star pass, which is Helsinki have passed the star to Rutsalainen.
And again, we've got 2 Helsinki blockers sitting in the penalty box for the start of the next jam. There is 1 Paris blocker, so it's not quite the pack advantage. It's a 3-2 pack advantage to Paris rather than a 4-2 pack advantage. But nonetheless, 2 blockers in the penalty box for Helsinki.
And that is having an impact on games. I mean, two walls are now much stronger than they were, you know, are still incredibly strong. But it is leaving enough space for jammers at this standard to be able to get by.
Yes.
So, Cass on the jam line against Nina. And even though I say that, both jammers struggling to get through this smaller pack. And it's just fantastic dynamic blocking, but Cass able to get out for Paris as lead. And it's Nina who's gone off for a forearm. So this is now a power jam to Paris. Second power jam of the game. And an opportunity for Paris to not only sort of, you know, to really just extend the lead and that sort of psychological impact that will have. But it is a Paris pivot has gone to the box.
That was some incredible toe stop work on that outside line. Just bounce, just pirouetting on one toe stop to stay in.
So Cass completes first scoring pass, but Paris now have only 1 blocker on track. and they will now have a blocker queued for the box after that penalty. So Cass has only one person, and Helsinki are absolutely... Predator is just such an incredible blocker.
Yeah, Predator's done some great work already, some cracking offense and some really solid defense.
But Nina's back on track, back on our STS track, and does a big hit on Cass. Cass back up and says, you know what, you can complete that scoring pass, but I'm not going to let you have any more. So Paris picking up 8 in that jam, and Helsinki picking up 4. So Paris just extending their lead now out to 13 points, 43 plays 30.
Yeah, but in a reversal from the previous jam, we've got 2 Paris blockers in the box at the start of this jam. One is standing, so will be released sometime within 10 seconds. And Malou on the jam line for Helsinki means I would expect to see a Helsinki lead in this jam.
Yeah, 2 Paris blockers up front as that that line of defence. But it is Star who makes it out first, with Malou close behind, quarter of the lap, so it's a race back to the pack. Still with 3 Helsinki, 2 Paris, and now 3 Paris blockers. Oh, and Star finds a gap on the outside, but then Malou finds a gap on the inside.
That was a great bit of offense from Paris on the outside, and I think was slightly distracted from the fact that Malou was approaching on the in, and we do know that Malou loves an apex jump. I mean, I love watching them.
But Star was hit out and recycled to the back, and so, you know, was not able to sort of go and do that extra pass, and so called the jam. Paris and Helsinki both picking up 4 points in that jam. 47 now playing 34, and we've got 12 and a half minutes left in this half. I mean, that's still a very low-scoring game.
Yeah, absolutely. Not quite as low scoring as we've seen in some other games. I think we're just going to take a quick official timeout because that poster has decided to join the ref crew.
Yes, which is the Rydell crew. Rydell is sponsoring and supporting our crew and volunteers. They've been advancing the sport of skating for 70 years. No matter your rink choice, Rydell has figure skates and roller skates you will love. RydellSkates.com. So we have on the jam line... We have lead jammer for Paris, it's Lamoche, and for Helsinki, also out completing their initial. Again, it's just the lack of blockers on the track. Lamoche back in the pack, comes in at speed, but takes a huge hit out, so calls the jam and also denying Helsinki points. It is the full 4 for Paris. Just looking at the scoreboard. There you go, there's the 4 points, taking them to 51, Helsinki on 34. And we're having an official timeout. So I think just making sure that everything's safe. And it's an opportunity to talk about one of our league sponsors, 888. 888's certified sweat saver helmets bring the best features and fit options of any derby helmet on the market. Check them out online or in your local derby and roller skate shop. So still in official timeout. Opportunity to talk about the first sort of 12, 15 minutes. What have you seen so far?
Yeah, I mean, everything is very equally spread. We've got a relatively equal spread of penalties. Paris on 13 overall, Helsinki on 11. I mean, the score is in Paris's favour, but like you say, it's a very low-scoring game. It's actually only 17 points difference between the two teams, and as we all know, that's just one big power jam away from a lead change. So,
but we've seen a lot of blocker penalties, and we saw this earlier today, especially at this level of roller derby. I'm not sure I would have been expecting to see quite so much time in the penalty box for both teams.
I think everyone's had some tiring. I say these two teams in particular have had some hard fought games this weekend, and when you get tired, these things happen. There's a lot of, we're playing for, I believe, 3rd and 4th place. Or was that the game? No.
No, no, this is one of the consolation games.
Nonetheless, we're playing for ranking points.
Yeah.
There's a lot, these teams really, really want to win. Emotions,
and
are
also
running
want
high.
to stay in that top 10 because it's the European Championships next year, and you're going to have to be in the top 10 to be on that invite list. And what we've seen is a lot of the top 10 have been playing each other, and the rankings have kind of stabilised, but there are still swings, and there are teams that are coming up, and there are teams that are going down. So you can't sit here and go, I'm sixth. I'm Paris, I'm sixth, I'm going to be fine.
Yeah, and we're still seeing a lot of, we've seen some changes to rosters this weekend from what we've had in previous tournaments, with skaters being either temporarily out. We're still seeing people moving around between teams, moving cities. And so, yeah, I don't think any team can sit back and rest on their laurels at the moment and think that they can just qualify or that they're guaranteed a win against any team.
And I think we've seen a couple of upsets in the people in the top 4 this weekend. If you are watching this live, you've had a fantastic weekend. If you're watching this on catch up, go back and see some of the early games, but not right now. Stay with us. So we're still in official timeout, but I'm just looking at all the officials and they look to be in place, so fingers crossed we will be getting underway shortly on the STS track. And we're just still making sure that everything is as it should be. So who's standing out for you in the first sort of 15 minutes?
Well, I think, like I said, Predator as a blocker has really stood out to me for some of the offense. Varpuk Nutila is always good value for money as a jammer.
I've quite enjoyed watching Legsite this weekend. They've really stood out as a jammer, and we are underway.
We are underway.
Roller derby is going to happen. Woohoo! So, there we go. And it is Legsite on the jam line for Paris, and it is Nina for Helsinki. And it is Legsite who gets out first, because Paris have 3 blockers on track, and they are holding back Nina and recycled back to the S1 jam line. Legsite in the pack pushes through that Helsinki wall up front and completes first scoring pass. But Helsinki have passed the start to Rutsalainen. So Legsite in the pack, scoring points, looking to the bench for advice, calls the jam. Possibly a little bit too late.
A little bit too late, yeah, there. I think there was a couple of things in that jam. The Paris pivot looked to be trying to mark the Helsinki pivot to stop them being able to take the star pass, but then slightly caught unawares, I think, when it actually happened. And again, just that call-off could have done with being just 3 or 4 seconds earlier.
So Paris picking up 6, but Helsinki picking up 3, and I think that could be crucial as we start getting towards, for Helsinki, looking at how to do things and change things up. Now would be a good time.
Now would be a great time to for either team to have a big power jam, I think.
And as you say it, the announcer curse comes true. Cass, the jammer for Paris, has been sent to the box for a cut track penalty. It is Malou on the jam line for Helsinki, who has 1 blocker ahead, pushes them out of play. Lead jammer for Helsinki for the first time in a number of jams. 8, first time in 8 jams. So Malou now again, and with Paris with only 3 blockers on the track, 1 to push past now, and 1 blocker has just been sent off. So Paris have 2 on the track, and it's the first lead for Malou, who is now on second scoring pass, pushing out up front against number 54, Bully Bunker. Pushes them out of play and completes a second scoring pass.
Oh, for a second there, I thought that was a lovely, really sneaky star pass from Paris to the pivot, but didn't actually go through.
So Malou on third scoring pass. Cass is trying to pass the star and has almost achieved that. Trying again.
Third time lucky.
But that's fantastic work from Helsinki, denying that star pass until now. But that does force the jam. Bully Bunker picking up the star. Oh, my heart was breaking for Cass and Bully there. They tried so hard.
They tried so hard to make that star pass happen.
So 11 points to Helsinki in that jam takes them to just 9 points behind Paris. We were saying one jam could change things, and it is a team timeout to Paris. Not a, good idea, because it takes any wind out of Helsinki's sails for this jam.
Yeah, and absolutely, and we're over 20 minutes into this half now. You get 3 in a game, so now's as good a time as any to take one. If you don't use them, you lose them.
Yep. So it's a chance to talk about, and we mentioned them earlier, Create and Skate Factory, who've provided the MVP prizes. So again, after the next game, which is Rainy versus London, stay for the ceremony. So we Create and Skate Factory are art, prints, stickers and cards by Jukebox. Support a skater run brand. And I spent quite a lot of money at their stand here this weekend. And some very lucky people are getting nice Christmas cards, is all I'm going to say. But fantastic artwork, stickers, prints, cards, all are available in different sizes and colorways. Perfect gift for a skater in your life. CreateandSkateFactory.com. So, team timeout over. What are Helsinki going to do now?
Get lead, score points, call the jam. That's what I'd be aiming to do. We've got Varpuk Nutila, so that's, and we've got an empty penalty box, although I shouldn't apparently say things because
Announcer's curse
is a real thing, and that is Paris.
So Lamoche gets lead for Paris. Varpuk Nutila is still facing that Paris wall up front, dodges around the outside and just manages to avoid a hit from number 21, which is Track Sparrow, to complete scoring pass. But Lamoche in the pack decides to hit it and quit it, but picked up the full 4 points. So 61 for Paris, 48 for Helsinki. They'll be happy with 4 points at this stage.
I think they'll be happy for 4 points. I think if I was Paris, I'd be aiming to, I'd say Helsinki played a game already today, whereas Paris haven't. So potentially just wearing Helsinki down, trying to tire them out, trying to tire out their key jammers, maybe run a couple of jams long when they've got a little bit more safety net. Or even if they can, keep the points even across between the two jammers.
Speedy from Helsinki is out as lead. Star from Paris stuck in the pack from the jam line with the helmet cover in their hand. Oh, it is a penalty for Star. So this is now a power jam to Helsinki. It was a high block by Star. So Helsinki now with a power jam and lead jam. Lead jam, apologies.
Yeah, so a good opportunity here to try and put some points on the board, or alternatively call the jam off and start from fresh, rather than spending 10-15 seconds of that power jam trying to re-earn the same 4 points so that you can get out and score another 4 points.
And give an opportunity to put your power line up on.
Yep. Yeah, and that might be a good tactic as well. Just
And you can see that because Varpuk Nutila is on the jam line. And so is Predator on one of the blockers. And Jemima Lagova, who is also another. This is a power lineup from Helsinki.
I think from, the mentality side of things, if Paris can go into half-time with a bit of a decent lead.
So Nina actually on the jam line. Yes, sorry, I'd misidentified earlier. So it's Nina on the jam line, picks up lead jammer, and great cube blocking from Helsinki on the jam line, which I haven't seen for a while.
Yeah, we went a bit 2016 there, didn't we?
So
that brings back memories.
So Paris, though, with one blocker, the pivot in the box, and it is Nina pushing out up front, but Star is on the STS track, helmet cover in hand, but Predator and then the entire Helsinki wall in front. So it is what we've seen a lot of this weekend. A 3-1 push. I feel like calling it. But interestingly, at one point, Paris were happy to put 2 blockers in the wall and another doing offense. It worked. Nina took a long time to get through, but has completed the scoring pass. But Star is out. Star has a cut track. So it is another power jam. Second one in a very short space of time for Helsinki. But Nina needing some offense to get through that Paris wall of 4. Predator going in for the offense, call the jam, but they did free Jemima Lagova from the box, so they'll start with a power start and a full Helsinki lineup.
And they will start with the Paris jammer in the box for the second jam in a row, and I think that that means that this will be Star's third jam in a row as jammer.
That's exhausting and demoralising.
Yes, absolutely. All of those things. Tiring, demoralising. Who have they put out as pivot?
That's exactly what I was going to look at. And I think that is Bully Bunker, who is a traditional recipient. Malou pushing that Paris wall up on turn 1. 2 players left, 2 blockers left. Pushes past all of them and picks up lead.
Lovely little go for the arms there. You can't use your arms to stop me. It's like you're going to push through your arms.
Star back on track, looking for that star pass, straight with the helmet cover off and in their hand. And I couldn't see the angle there to see if that star pass was completed. But and there's just little Fuchs there for Helsinki going, I'm going to mess you up. I'm going to mess you all up. I'm going to provide all of the offense.
I think that is the trick with the star pass, isn't it? I think they were hoping Helsinki also wouldn't know whether the star pass had happened or not and wouldn't know who to block and would pick the wrong person.
But it has happened. Bully Bunker now approaching the pack, having completed initial, forcing the call off. And that is points for Helsinki. 4 points. That now takes them into the lead.
And that is a lead change, so you may take a sip of your beverage of choice at home if you're playing along.
So 63 points for Helsinki, 61 for Paris. 3 minutes 16 left in this half. We said this would be close and fun.
I said I wanted a nice chill game after the first couple of games today.
So Cass versus Vapuk Nutila, and both jammers in the pack, but it's Vapuk Nutila who finds the gap and completes for lead and is approaching now for scoring pass. Cass avoiding the Helsinki sort of chase out, chase down, completes their initial pass. So Vapuk Nutila hit to the outside, sees Cass approaching, calls the jam. Cass taking so much momentum that physics sent them to the floor. It wasn't a hit, it was actual physics.
I've seen that happen a few times today where someone's feet have just gone off without them. And that apparently longest streak for Helsinki of lead jammers. They've been lead for 4 jams in a row now, although a couple of those have been power starts, haven't they?
But they put 4 points on the board, extending their lead out to a whole 6 points.
Wow, that's a lot of points for in today's economy.
In today's world. Cass on the jam line against Vapuk Nutila again. So, no, it's...
Oh, no, that was...
It's Cass and Speedy. But Speedy has picked up a forearms penalty, so this is now a power jam to Paris.
But Legs has got a penalty as well, so we're going to have a jammer switcheroo. So we will have a short power jam for Helsinki, but Legs already being released from the box, only having to serve the amount of time that Speedy was in the box.
Yeah. Oh, but Legs managed to sneak through unnoticed, which is, a surprise because they are such a dominant force on the track. But completes initial now on a scoring pass, and Speedy is on a scoring pass, so both teams now scoring points, and this jam will go for the full 2 minutes. So if you are watching, you may have noticed that we think that there is a scoreboard technical issue. So we are now running with the knowledge that we have that we can see on the screen. Hurrah!
It's back. Panic over.
Could you tell the panic in my voice then?
Yes, yes.
So, Lexite gets out, and we're just looking to see if the scoreboard is updating around passes, and I don't think they are, so we still may be having some issues. But jammers are going around and scoring points because this is a full 2-minute jam. Both jammers are doing multiple scoring passes. So we can't give you an update on the points right now. But what's interesting is that the pack is, the blockers are not forming those strong defensive lines we've seen the rest of the time, just until Paris do. And we're on the straightaway between turns 2 and 3. And that jam comes to an end. So, yeah. And as you would expect, there is an official timeout because I'm sure that they want to resolve these technical issues.
I think they just want to double check that everything is functional. Yes, we're still sitting at our scoreboard that you can see. It says Paris 61, Helsinki 67.
But that is not
the current official score.
No. It will be really interesting to see what happens because with that full 2-minute jam, that meant that there were multiple scoring passes from both teams. So we could have a lead change. We might not have a lead change. We can't tell you right now, but we know that that was a high-scoring jam for both teams. And I think what was interesting was we've seen such steady, solid defence, and it seemed to go out the window in this jam.
Everything broke in that. You know, both jammers get a penalty and everyone falls apart and doesn't really know what to do, even though they both came straight back out again. In fact, you know, the scoreboard fell over, the blockers. Yes, it was shenanigans.
So we're now in a team timeout. I'm not sure that it is a team timeout. I think that may be showing as part of these technical issues. Oh, it's an official review, has been called by Helsinki. So we will keep you updated with what that is. But we will take this opportunity to read you a statement from Rainy City Roller Derby. Rainy City Roller Derby is horrified by the violence and civilian casualties in Gaza and Israel and the increasingly aggressive genocide in the occupied Palestinian territories. We also condemn the rise in anti-Semitism and Islamophobia that has been seen across the UK due to the escalation of this conflict. Hosting and participating in EuroCup is an incredible privilege. We hope everybody attending or watching from home can get some joy in these hard times. This weekend, we are collecting donations for medical aid for Palestinians and the Palestinians and the Palestinian Children's Relief Fund. Please do head to their donation pages if you are able. Head to the Rainy City Instagram page for links to these two charities, and thank you. Do we have any updates on the official review?
We do. Helsinki are using their official review as a team timeout, which they are perfectly within their rights to do.
So we are in official timeout now. I think there still may be some technical snafus going on. So we're a minute and a half from half time. And, tight, close game. Even though the last jam, we're not entirely sure what the result was, it was still tight and close in that both jammers were scoring.
I think we can confidently tell you that the score is still close.
Yes.
I would not like to go any further than that.
And it'll be interesting to see who is going to go into half-time. We've got one, maybe two jams left to really set that sort of tone going into the half-time break.
It looks like one of the things that froze as well as the score is the period clock. So we believe that there are 6 seconds left on the period clock and we're updating the score. So that looks like our score updated, and that's a bigger change than I was expecting.
Yes. So that's Paris points. Helsinki. Yes, there's the Helsinki points.
There we go. That looks more like it.
So 78 points to Paris. That was a lead change. 17 points in the last jam. Helsinki picking up 12. Biggest jam of the game, almost for both teams in the same jam. And as you said, I think everything broke in that jam because, you could see that the blockers were on track, but they weren't working together. And it was a number of times because the jammers were just able to skate around like they were doing laps.
Yeah, and I think actually one of the things that happens when you have blocker penalties is that I imagine that most high-level teams kind of train as lineups. So they'll train together. You four skaters are going to be blocking together. Another four skaters, you're always going to block together. And as soon as you get people in the penalty box between jams, going back out, it doesn't have a huge effect as you would expect at this level. They do all train together, but it does sometimes just throw things a little bit. You're not quite used to where people are going to be on the track, or things aren't quite right, and maybe that had an effect.
So you can see that the period clock has been updated to reflect 6 seconds.
We have been informed that there is going to be another jam because
nobody's been able to call a timeout because of the technical situation. So, I think that is fair to both teams.
Yeah, and often, decisions are made about when to call the jam off based on the period clock, based on things. And so, quite often the head ref has the opportunity to say,
it's the right thing to do. So we will be having an interview as well at half-time, possibly. We're waiting to hear if there's confirmation on the interview. So do not run away. We will update you at the end of this jam if there is an interview, and that will be with, it's with Toulouse. Toulouse will want to talk about that game.
Yes.
So we're underway again. L'Excité versus Speedy. And it is L'Excité who takes advantage of some confusion in the pack to come out as lead. It's actually now showing as Lamoche on the scoreboard. And actually, yes, that's Lamoche. I should have known better. And it is Speedy who is still stuck in the pack on their initial pass. Lamoche hit out to the inside and recycled to the S1 pivot line. Goes, you know what? I've had enough. Let's go to half-time.
Yeah, that was Moo with a big hit out. Yeah, it was great.
Just checking, yes, there were points for Paris, 4 points. So they extend their lead out to 82, so they are now a whole 7 points ahead at the end of this game. And yes, we do have an interview, so we will just hang on till we pass to Loud and Queer. So it is 82 points to Paris, 75 points to Helsinki. Super close, lots of lead changes, amazing roller derby. But we will hear more about the incredible game that you've just watched with Toulouse. And we're just waiting until that we can throw over to that interview. I want to hear what Toulouse have to say about that game.
I would like to hear that as well.
So we're just making sure that we can throw over to people for you. But in the meantime, if not, come back in 14 minutes and we will have more of this game for you. And it's going to be an incredible second half. It's been super close this half. Be really interesting to see how the teams re-strategize in this 15 minutes and come back on track. We'll pass you to Loud and Queer with Toulouse Roller Derby.
Hello, I am trackside with some members of Toulouse Roller Derby who beat Crime City, which was amazing. It was so loud in here. How was the game?
It was amazing. Yeah, really, I don't have the words to explain what we do.
I'm not sure anyone has the words to explain what you did. Was there a moment where you knew we have this, like we're going to win, or was it uncertain throughout?
We are so proud for this competition and this game. And before the game, we are outsider team, right? Yeah, like the underdog. Yeah, and on avait envie de faire une performance similaire au match de Manchester la veille. Et du coup, on s'est dit qu'on n'avait rien à perdre. Rien à...
So yeah, we wanted to do like kind of the same thing that we did against Manchester, and we were not like, oh, we're gonna win, but like we want to be there, you know. We want to be there. Okay, we were here like to have this game and give what we can and everything we have, and we were like, there is nothing to lose for us, you know.
So you had to get that in at least once on camera. I think that's the thing. You played your game. You weren't there just adapting to what Crime City did. You played Toulouse's game, and it was amazing. How have you felt about this whole weekend? Is it just generally, how has your experience been?
It was a lot of emotions because it was the very first time we came for European tournaments. So it was just like nothing to lose, yeah. And just, comment on dit, des bonus à chaque fois.
A plus. That was just like plus and plus, because like we were not expecting like to perform this way, so that was a plus and a plus. So like that was good, and also like it has been a lot of work like for Toulouse, like to be part of the WFTDA competition and like coming back from COVID and everything. So I think that's why like it was a lot of emotion, and also like cheer to our two teammates who couldn't make it, Lola and Shushut.
I think next EuroCup you can now come back as defending bronze medalists, right? Defending third place, which will be great. Is there anything else you want to say about the tournament or a particular teammate that you were super proud of, or anything else at all you want to say?
Yeah, I think that that was a really good competition, and I think that for me, I'm super proud of Trash Panda. I think
They are a favorite here, right? Like the noise when Trash Panda was on track was amazing.
and also like the public. That was kind of cool, like to have like the cheer and everything. That was super cool.
Yeah. The public was amazing for us. It was just like the first time we see all the public cheer for us. It was great.
And I think people might have cheered for you originally because you were that outsider team, that underdog. But actually, as you went on, people were like, no, we're going to cheer for Toulouse because we love Toulouse, right? So it's great to watch you guys play. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the tournament, the after party, and your journey home.
Love to Bigly. Bigly, I love you.
So we will finish that there. We have just under 9 minutes left in intermission, and then you can come back and watch Paris roller derby against Helsinki. Thank you.
Welcome back to sunny Manchester, home of EuroCup 2023. We are on game 9, can you believe it? Game 9. And this is the second period of game 9. It is Paris roller derby versus Helsinki roller derby. Haven't played each other since before COVID.
No, we were looking at the stats earlier, weren't we? We've looked at other teams they played, but they haven't played each other for quite a while.
And the predictor was saying this would be a super close game with Paris sneaking the win. At the moment, the predictor's on track. But we've seen, 5-6 lead changes in this first half?
Yeah, there's been a lot of lead changes. There hasn't been a significant points differential at any point, I don't think. We've got equal numbers of lead jammers, more or less. Paris with 13 lead jams in that first half, and Helsinki with 10. We've had roughly equal number of star passes for each team. Obviously, we've only got a 7-point differential in the score. It's all very close.
So we are also having a few technical issues if you were watching the first half. So it did say that we were due to start, but I think there is still some technical snafus going on. So we will continue talking about this incredible first half of this game for a few minutes, and let's hope that everything gets fixed and we can get back on track. I mean, it's been Paris with, I think probably scoring in more jams, but Helsinki have been able to put on multiple scoring passes and close that gap or take the lead, and sort of vice versa.
Yeah, I think just looking at the penalties again, they're quite even. I think it feels to me like Paris have had the edge, and obviously that is reflected in the scoreline. I think Helsinki had a point where they had a few jams where quite often only had 2 blockers on track. They haven't quite fallen into the same penalty spiral that they fell into against Crime yesterday, which was obviously a big deciding factor in that game for them. It will be interesting to see how energy levels play out in the second half, with Helsinki already having played together, as we said, Paris having had 2 games yesterday, but haven't played yet today. So
large number of blocker penalties, but actually a much lower number of jammer penalties than we've seen in other games this weekend. We just the technical issue is we're just checking that all the penalties from the first half were properly recorded, so we expect things to be going very shortly. And if you are staying with us all day, and we hope you are, on this wonderful stream. It's been fantastic roller derby today. We've got this incredibly close second half, and then we will be moving on to Rainey versus London as the final game.
Yeah, I am very excited for that game. We haven't seen Rainey and London play each other in an open door game this year. I think they played each other 3 times in the last year or two.
Yes, but not sanctioned, so they're not showing up on the WFTDA.com rankings. And so Rainey have played every other team in the top 10 apart from London this year, sanctioned. So yes, I think there was an expectation coming into the tournament that Crime were going to be in the final, and London had this incredible win against Crime by 2 points this morning. I'm just looking for an update on the technical issue. Okay, and we are going to be a bit more delayed in the technical snafus, and rather than listen to us talk about this game, much as that is wonderful, we're just going to take a pause for a few minutes and so show you some wonderful adverts for sponsors who have supported this tournament and bringing this to you today.
This is the totally redesigned Lifer Visor helmet from S1. Featuring our patented Fusion foam, this helmet has the impact protection you've come to expect from an S1 helmet and is both multiple impact and high impact certified. Our new custom visor is made with a high impact polycarbonate lens, which is optically correct and features our patented cover catcher, which allows for multiple covers to be worn with easy on-off. The outside lens has an anti-scratch coating, while the inside has an anti-fog coating. The outer shell is equipped with in-mold mounting hardware, so that the visor can be removed and replaced if needed. The S1 Lifer Visor helmet, where innovation and function are actualized.
Roller derby is played in increments called jams. Each jam lasts up to 2 minutes. Both teams field up to 5 skaters at the start of the jam. 4 of these skaters are called blockers, and 1 is called the jammer. The jammer wears a helmet cover with a star on it and scores points for the team. The blockers are playing both offense and defense at the same time, and together they make up what is called the pack. The 2 jammers start each jam behind the pack and must get through all of these skaters for an initial pass before they can begin to score points. When the initial pass is complete, a jammer can score 1 point for every opponent they pass with their hips. The first jammer out of the pack legally is declared lead jammer, which means they can end the jam anytime they want before the 2 minutes are up. Sounds easy, right?
The S1 Pro knee pad is built to last and perform, blending highly durable fabrics and materials into an innovative design with exceptional craftsmanship. We use a very tough, military-grade ballistic nylon for the outer shell material. We triple-stitched every seam to prevent blowouts and reinforced all of the straps with additional stitching. Our top straps are made with a high-retention elastic that minimizes excessive stretching and incorporates a length adjustment system to allow you to lengthen or shorten the top strap. The inner knee cup mold is streamlined and deep-fitting and features a 4-tiered foam system combining varying densities of foam with shock-dispersing foam to achieve both shock reduction and comfort on impact. The inner foam layer is a high-rebound memory foam which absorbs shock and molds to your knee on impact, stabilizing the knee, helping to prevent slippage. Our kneecap has a flat surface that supports stability on impact and is made with a high abrasion polycarbonate plastic for durability. The S1 Pro knee pad: stability, durability, functionality.
Women's flat track roller derby is played on a variety of floors and surfaces, including concrete, sport court, and wood. The track layout is 108 feet by 75 feet and is flat and oval. It also includes both outside lane and infield area for officials. You'll notice there are two primary lines across one side of the straightaway on the track. The back line is called the jammer line, and jammers must start each jam behind that line on the track. The other line is called the pivot line, and blockers start the jam anywhere on the track between the jammer line and the pivot line. Once the jam starts, the skaters are allowed to skate forward, past these lines, and start making contact. But they must stay on the track at all times, if they can help it.
You give it everything you've got, and so do we. Why? So you can reach higher, do more. Be yourself, trust yourself. On the track, in the park, believe in yourself. Protect yourself, because no matter who you are, we've got you covered. Certified protection, second to none.
Carmen gets in the last line of defense for Krispy Kreme.
Oh, Carmen gets him, destroyed Krispy Kreme, and Kremer's head bounced off the track.
The back of her head, to be quite specific, knocked her back and then with a little bit of a bounce. Fortunately, I think most of her body had hit the floor before her head hit the floor. Oh, I can't see that.
And we can say we are back, and second period has just started. It is 82 to Paris Roller Derby, 75 to Helsinki, and that is just looking. That's Legsite from Paris, who is lead jammer. And on the jam line,
Vapuk Nutila, who's just given a star pass to Ruotsalainen for Helsinki.
So you can see on the overlay that it is not updating, so we will keep you updated with what we can see from the scoreboard on venue. So that is 29 minutes, 22 seconds left in the jam. It was 8 points for Paris and 2 for Helsinki, 90 now playing 77. So we will keep you updated as much as we can. We can see the scoreboard, which in the venue is working. So, but thank you for staying with us through all of these technical issues. And we have an official timeout. So Paris coming out, scoring 8 points in that first jam is important psychologically.
Yeah, that's a very good start for Paris. Like I said, this coming out with that bit of momentum that they built at the end of that first half, despite the little bit of delay. Although I think they enjoyed the sing-song that they had with Helsinki on track, which you all didn't see, unfortunately, but we enjoyed it.
Yes, so Total Eclipse of the Heart with passion, sung by both teams keeping warm. So we are back on track. It's Lamoche for Paris on the jam line up against Malou, and it's Malou out first for lead. So Lamoche going all the way back to the S1 jam line to do some defense themselves, not able to hit Malou out. Malou able to push out front. Only 2 Paris blockers on track. And Lamoche is looking to hand over the start. The overlay is back. We missed you. We missed you, overlay.
Yeah, Lamoche looking to pass the star, and then I think realising that their pivot was still in the bin, the penalty box temporarily, but that star pass has now been completed.
Yes, and so it is now Bonnie Tagoul who is jamming, and Malou looking to when to call the jam. That was the most I'm waiting, no, I'm calling it that I've seen.
Yeah, there was a Helsinki blocker in the penalty box. I think they were trying to burn as much time as possible off that penalty. Unfortunately, releasing the Paris blocker that was in the box in the time, but you wouldn't,
that's what happens.
Take that.
Helsinki taking 8 points in that jam, closing it down to a 5-point game. So important psychologically, again, for Helsinki to come back after that first jam from Paris. And we're underway again, and it is Cass versus Nina on the jam line. So Cass up on the inside, Jemima Lagrova, and not able to hold them back. It's Cass lead jammer for Paris.
Yeah, and just again that pack advantage paying off.
Yeah, and Cass on the Again, looking on the outside, looking for the scoring points, but it's a solid wall of Helsinki at the back. It is a solid wall of Paris at the front, holding back Nina on their initial. But Cass breaks out, speeds past on the outside to complete 4-point scoring pass, just as Helsinki passed the star. So it is now Ruotsalainen who is jamming for Helsinki and forces Cass to call the jam.
Yeah, I've seen that a few times, like the opportunity for a big recycle on the jammer as one blocker is running the jammer back. Gives the other blockers an opportunity just to take a few seconds and go, I'll give you a little bit of offense on my way back past. Help you out.
So 8 points for Paris in that jam takes them out to 98. Helsinki on 85. 13 points between the two. 26 minutes, 26 seconds left in the game. So it's Legsite and Speedy on the jam line. Legsite has just 2 Helsinki blockers up front, but is reabsorbed by the pack before recycled. And Legs still in that pack up front, but it's Speedy who breaks out first, lead jammer for Helsinki. But Legsite takes an apex jump to also exit the pack, complete the initial pass. We have only 2 Helsinki blockers on track.
Yeah, so interesting choice there from that. I was just wondering whether Helsinki would elect to run that jam and try and release their blockers from the box.
But we have now, Paris's jammer went into the box at the end of that jam for a forearms penalty. Our wonderful producer, Smash, keeping us on track. And it is 1 point for Helsinki. And at this point, every single point is counting. And also the time management that's taking, the clock management and impact that's going to have on the game.
Yeah, tough situation with a power jam, but only 2 blockers to do offense on 4 Paris blockers.
1 point is a win. So Legsite on the jam line up against Vapuk Nutila. And it's Vapuk Nutila for Helsinki who makes it out, lead jammer. Legs in the box, so it was a power start to Helsinki. And they have now got one of their blockers out, both of their blockers out of the box. Legsite is standing. So Vapuk Nutila now on scoring pass. So again, and we've seen this Paris very effectively, wasting penalty time.
Oh, that was lovely. Legs did some great apex jumps yesterday.
Apex jump on turn 2 to just complete initial pass in no time at all. And it is 4 points for Helsinki, taking them to 90. Paris on 98, so an 8-point game.
Yeah, again, starting with a power jam and only capitalising, only making 4 points, even with a full 30-second power jam.
Paris's defence has really come back, sort of out of half-time. I would like to hear that speech that they had, that sort of re-strategization, because it's clearly effective. So Moshi on the jam line against Malou. And it's the push up front for Malou against the Paris wall of 3. Past them, lead jammer. So this is the 2nd out of 3 jams, 3rd out of 4 jams for Helsinki as lead.
Yeah, it looks like they've had 4 jams out of 6 so far in this half. They've had lead jammer, so we'll see if Malou can capitalise on this and try and get that differential a little bit closer.
So Malou in the pack scoring points. Moshi still trying to get out on their initial. And it's a push out front. 1 Helsinki blocker out. So Moshi completes, but it is a penalty for Malou. So this is now a power jam to Paris at a very crucial time.
Yeah, a minute left in this jam. It will run for the full 2 minutes because Malou was lead jammer. We do have a full complement of blockers for both teams back on track.
But Moshi able to push one-on-one, push each blocker out of play was excellent jamming and persistence. Completes 4-point scoring pass. Back in the pack for points. Back on the STS track, sponsored, and Moshi is now getting some offense from their blockers, but it is a solid wall up front as the offense has to become defense. And that defense doesn't hold back Malou. So Malou completes initial pass. First scoring pass completed for Helsinki. So that jam was the full 2 minutes. A timeout has been called. An official timeout has been called. Yes. And it is, I think, equal points for both. No. I can see the jam ref holding up some extra points, and that is 4. Just waiting to see. So Paris picking up.
I think that was 4 points each in that. Oh, no, 2 more points.
I'm just waiting to see which. Believe that would be for Paris. Yes, it is. 6 points for Paris in that jam, taking them to 104. Helsinki on 4. This is so tight, and it's been 3 or 4, well, no, probably 6 or 7 jams now where it's been super close, and both teams picking up points and not able to do the multiples, the big gap. They're not able to pull away from each other at the stage.
No, we're not seeing any big scoring jams yet. I think in the first half, Legs for Paris had that 17-point jam right before the end of the half. Varpuk Nutila had a 15-point jam in one jam, but we look at, we've had some 20, 23, 24-point jams in some of the games this weekend. Yeah. But it is late, everyone's tired. Yeah.
And just looking at the reason for the official review, I think just making sure everything's actually been taken down. And so all the penalties. So actually, just making sure everybody is safe and well and able to continue. So opportunity to talk about one of our amazing sponsors for this weekend. And sponsorship is so important to a tournament like this because it takes so much to have the venue, to have us all, to have the streaming. So we are grateful to all of them. In particular, we are grateful to our bar sponsor, because if you're in the venue and you've missed some things by not being in the venue, the sing-along, etc. You're also missing Track Brewery's craft beer, and they're a brewery based in Manchester, and they've actually been working with Rainy City to develop a beer called Get Low, and they're at trackbrewing.co.uk, and everybody has been raving about this beer all weekend.
Yeah, everybody said yesterday how nice it was. I certainly am looking forward to having one after this game while I enjoy London versus Rainy, which I think we're all very excited about.
Absolutely. I think London are probably more excited than everybody else. And Rainy were like, OK, so our game plan, we've got to tear it up and write a new one because we thought we were going to be playing crime.
It'd be interesting to see with that game, the mentality going in. London have won both their games this weekend so far.
And I think London came in this with lower expectations than that. I know there's some key players that have been missing, and so there was a feeling, this might not be our tournament. But actually, I think they've really shown this weekend that this can be their tournament.
Yeah, I think good solid win over Dock City, which was expected. Maybe they would have liked to have won by more points, but the win over Crime this morning was quite an incredible game.
Yeah.
So it'll be really interesting to see. Obviously, Rainy haven't played today. They played one game yesterday against Toulouse, which I think the two styles of gameplay for the two teams meant that actually that was perhaps Rainy weren't quite as dominant as they might have expected to be.
Because of these 4 top teams, what we're saying and not saying is Rainy and Toulouse are quite physical, and London and Crime are quite tactical and strategic. And so it's been interesting to watch the physical teams play each other, the tactical teams play each other, and now we're going to see the physical versus the tactical.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how that one goes. I'm very excited. I'm a little bit nervous, and I'm probably going to have lost my voice by the end of today.
And we want to do a big thank you to the host, Rainy City. So we are in sunny Urmaston, Manchester, and this has been a little chilly in the venue, but the energy and the huge amount of support from the volunteers that have been here, those wonderful purple jackets. I think every league now needs to up their game for their volunteer kit. Rainy City Roller Derby was founded in Greater Manchester in 2008, the Northwest's first ever and highest achieving roller derby league. This is the 3rd year that Rainy City has hosted the EuroCup. So we want to do a thank you to the EuroCup Tournament Committee, as well as Be Active Ermiston as the venue, real-time events for providing the stream for us, and all, of course, obviously the announcers, the officials, the photographers, and the most amazing track repair crew I've ever seen.
100% hands down MVP award to that person.
Oh, track repair while voguing. Yes, I can do that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we look as though we're about to get underway. Yep, there you go. That's the resume position, not resume play whistle.
Yep.
So, as a recap, Paris on 104, Helsinki on 94. It's been uber close for about 10 minutes.
It's been uber close for the whole game.
So, Lamoche on the jam line up against Nina. And we have one Paris blocker in the box. And it's Lamoche on the inside. It's Nina on the outside, up on the S1 pivot line. And we have a power jam. It is Nina, Helsinki, lead jammer, and Lamoche has gone to the box.
That was a cut track penalty.
So Nina now in the pack on a scoring pass, has opposition breaking up that Paris wall in effective offense from the Helsinki blockers. But Paris have reformed in front of Nina, who's saying to their colleagues, go back, get ready for the Paris jammer. Nina hit to the inside, brushes it off, and is pushes that Paris wall, pushes to 2, pushes them out of play, completes scoring pass. But Paris only allowing 1 scoring pass in that entire penalty.
One of the things I've been really impressed with this weekend is the reforming.
Yeah. The ability of walls to reform just together.
Yeah, getting from the back to the front. Like, how did they get there? They were.
So Nina in the pack on second scoring pass, sees Lamoche approaching, calls the jam. Paris sneaking 2 points. Let's see and it is the 4 for Helsinki. So narrowing that gap by just 2 points. So still 8 points in it. Cass on the jam line.
Speedy, that is the other jammer.
Ah, yes. If you hide behind the other jammer, I'm going to struggle. So 20 minutes, 23 seconds. Cass pushing on the outside, but so is Speedy. Hit out, recycled. And that was a cut track for Speedy, so this is now lead jammer and power jam for Paris. Opportunity for them to widen the gap. Oh, and Helsinki were not ready. That wall was not there ready for Cass, the speed with which they came round to the pack. But the Helsinki wall now reforming at the back. Cass on second scoring pass.
And again, for a moment there, we had 2 Paris blockers in the box, a reduced opportunity for offence for Cass.
Cass pushing out, Helsinki wall of 3, up front, 2. Last line of defence is Predator and...
Comia. It's always Comia.
It's always Comia.
Comia has had a brilliant weekend.
But I wouldn't want to face that 2 wall.
No.
So Cass... third scoring pass. Speedy is out of the box. And we have a pack on track. Cass hit out to the inside and recycled. And it's Speedy pushing out up front against a wall of 4 from Paris. So offense goes in, breaks up that Paris wall very effectively. And the 2 walls are quite far apart. That's the Speedy, Comia.
Yeah, we've had a star pass to Comia.
Pushing really hard. And it is Comia now as the jammer for Helsinki.
Comia took a lot of star passes in the game against Crime yesterday. I think over 7 or 8 at least star passes. Put a real shift in.
But Paris put in 11 points on that jam, opening that lead out to 117. Helsinki now on 102. Whew. I think is the best.
Yes, I think you summed it up perfectly there. I can only make noises at this point in the weekend. I can't give you words.
18 minutes left on the clock. Star versus Malou, and it is Star who gets out quickly. Malou in the pack, and it's this Paris defense that's holding them back. A Star hit out by Jemima Lagova in a surprise to no one with a big hit out to the outside. Excellent work from Jemima. And Star then hit to the inside and recycled.
I was just having a sneaky look at Smash's stats. I think this is Star's first jam in this half.
Yeah, that's a really good point. But Star gets out and completes scoring pass. But Malou has a hop to the inside and completes initial. So Paris, is Star going to play this long? Yep.
Yeah, Paris do have, that was a high block penalty on Star.
So this is now a power jam to Malou and Helsinki. So this will go for the full 2 minutes, and we have 54 seconds of this jam. So Paris have been locking down sort of penalty time. And you can see the Helsinki team lined up for the offense, and that was beautiful timing.
That was the second pass in a row with an absolutely textbook perfect sweep. If there are any coaches out there wanting to show that to their team, just clip that couple of minutes of footage.
Helsinki lined up for the sweep, but have left Malou to it, who has 3 Paris blockers ahead of them on turn 4, because Star has come out of the box and is on the apex behind a wall of 3 blockers.
No more sweeps for you, Malou.
No. Jemima Lagova going in for the offense, but has to maintain pack distance. So Malou pushing at the front. We've got Star pushing at the back, and we are now spread. A good almost half of a lap between the two teams. Jam comes to a natural end. So what pocket points do we have? We have Helsinki closing that gap down, looking at 12 points, Paris on 6. So this is 114 now playing 123. So this is a 9-point game.
Actually, I think you could tell from the way Star came out in that jam that she was a bit fresher and had a rest. And managed to pick up lead for Paris and break a little run of Helsinki lead jammers in this half.
So Legsite versus Vapuk Nutila. And it's Legs who's been assessed a penalty, and it is Vapuk Nutila who has lead jammer. So this is a power jam to Helsinki. Vapuk Nutila in the pack on a scoring pass. Paris wall up front. The offense comes in for the sweep, but the pesky Bonnie de Cools sort of stops that. But Vapuk Nutila gets through.
It wasn't quite as textbook a sweep as the ones we saw in the previous jam, but it was effective.
Because Bonnie was off to the side, so the sweep didn't catch them. Hop skip on the outside on toe stops, and Vapuk Nutila completes second scoring pass. And Legsite is released from the box, races back to the pack onto the STS track, and pushing that Helsinki wall, which is broken up by the Paris wall. Helsinki pushed out to the front. One last block. Oh, that was amazing blocking from Sylvester, but picking up a penalty. So Legsite out to score points, so forces Helsinki to call the jam. But 9 points in that jam. It is a tied game.
Oh my goodness, it's a tie game. I thought there was going to be a lead change, but no, that would have been boring.
We've had many of those.
Lead changes are so last week.
So it is 14 minutes left in this game. 123 to both teams. And on the jam line, we have Lamoche up against Nina. And it's Lamoche out in no time. Lead jammer for Paris. The inside line was open, and Lamoche took it.
And I think we had a very, very quick Star pass from Helsinki. I can't see who that was to. I think for once it's not Komia. Oh, it's Ruotsalainen.
We've seen Ruotsalainen take the helmet cover a number of times. Lamoche hit out to the inside, so we're on turn 1, but Lamoche is scoring points, and Ruotsalainen still on their initial. Lamoche hit out to the inside and recycled again and again. And that's just the defense from Helsinki, able to keep them back together. Bonnie Tagul going in for some offense, but not able to free Lamoche.
And we've just lost several blockers to the penalty box in that jam.
One of each kind.
Yes, one pivot and one non-pivot blocker.
Yeah.
And
I meant one team, but yeah. So, but Paris took the points in that jam, taking them into the lead on 127. So we're in a timeout. And it's a team timeout called by Paris. No? Oh, yes. Sorry. No, it's an official timeout that's been called. Apologies for that. So if you're staying for the final game, which we hope you are, because it's going to be so juicy, there is an award ceremony at the end, and there's going to be medals, which have been provided by Zero Waste Medals, the world's only zero waste medal producer, www.wooden-medals.co.uk, and they have done incredible medals.
They look really good.
I want one.
I want one too. I was a bit disappointed when I found out they weren't for us.
we should wear them anyway. There's this whole thing that announcers get to wear medals now because, you know.
Because we're the most important people here.
We're the sparkliest.
And we are the sparkliest.
So we should have medals. You know, they should do announcer medals. No, most sparkliest outfit, but I'm not sure who would win.
It's either me or Duke Special today, who
Duke
took
Special.
Dress Fancy. Oh,
and Duke Special made that dress.
I
themselves.
know, and it's got pockets and a cape.
I had missed the cape bit.
It's got a cape. I noticed halfway through the game we were calling earlier and got distracted from the game to point out that Duke Special's dress has a cape on it. I think we are getting ready to start the next jam. So as we said, we've got a Paris pivot in the box and one of the blockers from Helsinki. So 3-on-3 in the pack.
So it's Cass for Paris, and it is Malou for Helsinki. Malou taking the outside. Cass also trying to drive through the outside. Malou pushed to the inside by that Paris wall up front. Cass still not yet over the S1 pivot line, having to push at the back. And just the pushing. This is, I think, the stickiest defense we've seen off the jam line this game.
And again, yeah, we're seeing later into the game, everyone's a bit tired, but just getting slow, grindy walls. Jammers pushing now. Too tired for all that hop-skipping nonsense.
Malou clears the pack. Lead jammer for Helsinki. And Cass still having to push. Now pushing out the front. Breaks through past Comia. And completes initial pass.
Really took advantage of a little bit of confusion there when there was a penalty called on one of the Helsinki blockers and they all weren't sure who'd been called on a penalty, and Cass went, "Do you know what, I don't care which one of you's got a penalty, I'm going to just go."
And Helsinki happy with the 2 points because it is now a 2-point game between the two teams. 125 to Helsinki, 127 to Paris. Less than 12 minutes left in this game. I'm just going to do noises. This is my feeling about the game through sound.
Because interpretive dance won't show up at the moment.
So, Legsite on the jam line, up against Vapuk Nutila. And it's Vapuk Nutila up front. It is Legsite at the back. And we're on to 2-1. So the pack's moving. The last jam they didn't move. This time the walls are being much more dynamic. But it is a power jam. It is a power jam to Helsinki, who now get lead.
So I think having someone to do offense is what makes those walls move. So where we had 3-on-3 and no one doing offense, very slow and grindy. Paris with an extra blocker, able to do some offense for their jammer.
So Vapuk Nutila now on a scoring pass. And it is 4 Paris blockers they're facing. It is number 77, Rutsalainen, trying to provide some offense. Not able to get Vapuk Nutila through till now, but there's a chase out. And that's Bully Bunker trying to take Vapuk Nutila out. Fails. Vapuk Nutila completes scoring pass, but Legsite released from the box, back on the STS track. And we now have, you know, just this scrum in front of us on just before turn 3. And it is Vapuk Nutila at the back. It is Legsite having to push out front to Helsinki, able to reform in front of them, but clears initial pass.
Legs is such a powerful jammer. Paris are not a team I know very well, and I've really enjoyed watching them this weekend.
I have found the jamming from Paris to be some of the just most inspiring that I've seen for a while. It is 7 points to Helsinki, so we have another lead change.
Oof.
Yep, 9 minutes 44 left in this game. 132 plays 127.
It's a 5-point game.
So we have Star on the jam line for Paris, up against Nina for Helsinki. Nina pushing out up front. It is Star going from side to side at the back. We're just over the S1 pivot line. And it's Star who's been sent off, so this is now it's blocking with the head, so it's a power jam to Nina and Helsinki. But the defense from Paris is so solid. Offense going in from Helsinki. Mu trying to break the wall up, and we've just got such solid. Oh, and it's Mu I think that's Mu trying to see the numbers to see who's gone to the box. That's Fuchs. So, Nina at the back waiting for the offense to come in.
Yeah, absolutely. I think sometimes there's a worry that you go all in at once and suddenly you've just got an 8-person pack to get through.
But an effective power jam kill, penalty kill from Paris as Star is back on the track and pushes those blockers out, because was able to do that so fast they couldn't reform.
Yeah, I love to see that really fast jamming where the blockers just don't have time to alter they're just backwards and forwards, side to side.
Mu doing some, like there's no other blockers on the track from Helsinki, and Star just has to deal with Mu, is what it looks like. But Nina is still on the pack and is lead.
There were 19 seconds left in that jam when lead jammer was called.
Yeah, took nearly the full 2 minutes to get out for lead, but Star also in the pack. So that is, so just looking at the overlay, making sure that all the points are recorded properly. So both teams do pick up points in that jam. So Paris have picked up 4, Helsinki have picked up 1, which means that this is now a 2-point game.
Yes, indeed, it does. Yeah, because Star had completed a scoring pass, but of course wasn't eligible to get lead. So had done the penalty, come out, got the 4 points.
So 1-3-1 plays 1-3-3, 7 minutes to go. And we have Cass on the jam line up against Malou, who is pushing out against one final Paris blocker, pushes them out. Lead jammer for Helsinki. Cass still in the pack on their initial, getting some offense, breaks through just as Malou comes through for points. So Malou taking the outside and doesn't risk it, calls the jam, gets 2 points. Extends their lead to 4 whole points.
Four whole points. A nice comfortable lead.
So 35 for 135 to Helsinki, 131 to Paris.
Yeah, Helsinki have had the lion's share of the lead jammers in this half of the game.
But Paris aren't letting them score that many points when they do get it.
No, and Paris have capitalised on the jams where they have had lead jammer and power jams on some of them.
Lamoche up against Vaput Nutila. Lamoche out first for lead. I think the Paris walls have been harder to get through, I think, than the Helsinki ones at times. And it's a power jam to Paris. Lamoche lead and power jam. Vaput Nutila with a cut track penalty.
Yeah, I think the blocker penalties for Helsinki, again, I think Paris, we can't see the penalties anymore. They were relatively even, but I think the difference has been that where Paris have quite often had 1 blocker in the box, there have been several times where Helsinki have had 2.
Oh, and that wonderful apex jump on turn 1 by Lamoche gets them through for second scoring pass. We now have another lead change. And that is third scoring pass by Lamoche. And again, it's the Helsinki blockers are there, but they're not always in the right place when Lamoche comes round.
No, and the Paris blockers are doing a really good job of disrupting them and stopping them being able to form up as the jammer comes round.
So Paris picking up 14 points in this last jam takes them to 10 points ahead of Helsinki, 4 minutes 46 seconds.
So that was the biggest jam of period 2, 14 points, which is not a big jam still, is
It's not a
it?
big jam. It's only 3.5 scoring passes, and we've seen, you know, sort of 19, 20, 23 point jams this tournament. So on the jam line for Paris, we have Lexite, and for Helsinki, it is
Ninia, I think.
But Lexite is out and now scoring points. So Helsinki have passed the star.
Yeah, that's Ruotsalainen with the star for Helsinki, who got knocked out to the inside and recycled by Paris.
So Lexite is lead jammer, and that's now showing on the overlay, and is on second scoring pass. But Paris have only got one blocker on track, and will start with only one blocker on track.
Yeah, I mean, with that little bit of a lead, I'm not 100% convinced I would not have tried to get at least one of those blockers out of the penalty box. But it is such a tight game. 3 minutes left.
And they may think they've got a better chance. So on another lineup, so it is 6 points for Paris in that jam, takes them to 151, Helsinki 135. So 3 Helsinki blockers, 1 Paris blocker, and it's Paris with lead. Cass takes the outside line, but Malou is right behind them, less than a quarter of a lap, speeding back to the pack. And Paris now have 2 blockers on track, and a big sprawl to the inside. It is a power jam for Paris. Cass picking up the back block. Malou now on a power jam, completes scoring pass. So what can Helsinki do in this 30 seconds?
This is very tense. I'm sorry, I might forget that I'm supposed to do talking because this is just too exciting to watch. The back block penalty being called on Cass.
2 Paris blockers up front. It's Bonnie Tagoul and Malou, and they're pushed out of bounds. So Malou picks up another 4 points. 8 points behind Paris.
Cass now coming back in.
But Cass is now back on the STS track and comes in at speed to the Helsinki wall at the back. We're on the apex between turns 1 and 2. It's Malou pushing up front. It's Cass at the back. If I sound excited, that's because it's really exciting.
Helsinki have opted to do 4 defence at the back and allow Malou to push out the front and push those blockers out of play.
But Malou has those points and is on the scoring pass. Cass is not.
I think Cass was on a scoring pass when she gets sent off for that back block. So there'll be pocket points to be added to the full 4.
And it's a power jam because Malou has been sent to the box. Cass now has 16 seconds left in this jam to try and complete another scoring pass. Gets past Ninia.
But this does mean that the Malou won't be released. There you go, Malou standing in the box now, so there are only 20 seconds left in the jam.
Yeah, and however, it is points in the pocket there for Helsinki. 12, Paris on 8. So, timeout called by Helsinki. Not a big surprise.
No, 1 minute left in this game, so potentially looks likely that we'll only have one more jam in this game. A 12-point lead for Paris, and Paris starting on a power jam. Let me be honest, I'm not sure I'd be feeling great if I was Helsinki right now, but who knows? Anything could happen. The Paris jammer could get a penalty straight off the bat. We could see. I'm not prepared to predict anything at this point in this weekend.
No, and I think that the last couple of jams, the game has changed because of jammer penalties, and I think this point you've been making about the energy levels that teams are going to have at this stage is starting to play a role. So, 1 minute, 3 seconds left in this game. Paris on 159 points. Helsinki on 147.
Ooh. Yeah, and Helsinki with their pivot and their jammer both standing in the box. Although that's always quite fun when you come out together as a pivot and jammer pair. It's like, which one of us is going to have the star when we hit the pack? Who knows?
Because they do not have to be in the pack to pass. They just have to be on bounds and in.
Yeah, and they don't have to have passed it. You can skate along with both the jammer and the pivot holding onto the cover at the same time.
Yeah, that would be fun.
I've done it. It's very fun. I enjoyed it. It's a great fun.
But however, as lead would be a lead open at the start of this jam, you probably would not want to take the helmet cover off.
No, so Malou will probably keep the helmet cover on in the box until such time as Paris get lead, and then it's always a good tactic if you're starting in the box and lead is already close, take the helmet cover off and hope that nobody notices you're the jammer when you come out, although it is Malou.
But it's Lamoche from Paris, who maybe isn't as showy as some of the other jammers. I think Lexité has really stood out, but Lamoche has done a shift and delivers.
Yeah, I think it's always nice to say sometimes you want to be able to pick out a standout person from your team, but actually I think it says a lot about a team when you say, I don't think I could pick out a very standout, but I can definitely point out good things that certain people have done. But actually to not be able to pick out one standout player on a team is good, I think. And all their jammers have had a great game and a great weekend.
So if you have switched on for the first time today because you think that the final game is starting, we are running a bit late, so this is still game 9. Game 10 will be starting a little bit late. Rainy versus London. Do not go anywhere. That is going to be juicy.
But if you were expecting Rainy versus London, the good news is you're about to get a really exciting, potentially final jam in this incredibly close game.
And this is the third game today. It's come down to the last jam, which is insane.
Yeah, we've had some just ridiculous. I mean, 2 points between Crime and London this morning.
Yep. And I think about the same between Toulouse and Crime.
Yeah, that definitely came down to the final jam, I think, today.
So, still in official timeout, but here we go. Fasten your seatbelts for an emotional roller coaster.
Forgive us in advance if we forget how to speak and just make noises or possibly don't do anything.
So, Lamoche gets through, lead jammer for Paris.
3 seconds.
But here comes Helsinki's fourth of Malou, and there comes the pivot. So, Lamoche gets through for a scoring pass.
At this point, Lamoche just needs to stay clean.
Or stay on the track. So Malou, 2 Paris blockers, pushes them out, completes initial pass. But Lamoche now on second scoring pass, looking to the bench, looking for the timing. Malou coming through for points, but I think Paris relaxed about that because they have enough of a gap, and Lamoche is now on scoring pass 3.
I'm not sure if the Paris blockers were expecting Lamoche to call the jam.
But I think they're looking to run the clock down. I think Paris are running the clock down. But Malou has now picked up a penalty. It's a forearms, so it is a power jam to Paris. And if you can't see, Painbow has just sat back, just like, I cannot speak.
I was just watching the clock because I knew Lamoche was waiting until that clock hit 0 to call the jam off, and I was watching it go 2, 1, 0. Because, of course, if they call the jam off with 30 seconds left, there could be another jam.
So we have an unofficial final score. Paris on 171, Helsinki on 147. And the score feels a little unfair.
Yeah, I think that differential at the end doesn't show how close the game was. I mean, it's only 24 points. It's not exactly but it feels like a big differential.
It should be less than 10 points.
Yeah.
But that is the final whistle, and that is therefore your final score. So,
well, you just caught me with my head in my hand there. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do with today. That was an incredible game of roller derby, as have all the games been this weekend.
So we've been trailing. It's Rainy versus London.
It's Rainy versus London.
For the gold and silver medals, or wooden medal and cup, or sadness and despair, as the 2 prizes available in this final game. So we are running a bit late, so if you came for that game, give us a break. I'm not sure what time we're going to start, but it's probably going to be 15 to 20 minutes to allow the teams to warm up and everything to be removed and replaced for the next game. So we will go to a break while that, so come back in about 15 or 20 minutes. But in the meantime, I've been Dork Mistress.
I've been Over the Painbow.
And we have the wonderful Smash, who's been our producer.
Thank you very much.